and welcome back to Finding Wendy. Well, I think this week's going to be kind of a long video. But first, I'm going to talk about my stats, and then I'm going to talk about this really, really important meeting that I had this week with my the Bariatric Support Group meeting. We talked about exercise, bariatric exercise. So it's a really interesting topic, and so this is probably going to be on the long side of this video, so be prepared, get a coffee, and enjoy. I'll be right back. So first, my stats. So I started this whole weight loss journey back in 2017. I weighed 450 pounds. Wow, that's I think Freudian. So I weighed 450. I started my liquid diet Optifast on February 20th, and I was 400 pounds. My surgery was at Toronto Western Hospital on March 20th. I had VSG, and I was 375. Last week, I was 240. This week, I'm 239. So I've lost 1 pound. Woohoo! So that's good. So I'm down a total of 211 pounds, which is amazing. And happy to see that whatever I'm doing is still working. So stay tuned, and we're going to talk about this really interesting support group meeting that I'm going to report on for you. Be right back. I just had to find a certain email so I can talk about it. So the bariatric support group meeting this week was, the presenter was Allison Lockheed, who is from the STOMP program at SickKids. STOMP meaning SickKids Team Obesity Management Program. And so she came and gave a presentation, very interesting presentation on like a PowerPoint presentation, and I took some pictures of the slides, and I'm going to talk about each slide in this video. And then I'm also going to be posting 3 YouTube videos that we were watching as well, and each YouTube video is about 4 minutes, 5 minutes. So that's why this particular Finding Wendy video is going to be longer this week. So basically, in the first slide, as you can see, we are talking about 23 and a half hours. So that's a video that I'm going to post. Physical activity guidelines post-bariatric surgery. Incorporating active living into your lifestyle. Is sitting the new smoking? So that's a really, really interesting thing that I have heard lately, and it's actually very alarming. Cardio strength flexibility training, effects of PA on mind and body, and barriers and solutions. And I'm also going to talk about some new apps that I now use on my phone that are related to this whole topic of the exercise and bariatric exercise and post-op help for everybody. So active living is the next slide. Active living means incorporating activity into your daily routines. Activity or movement is sometimes something that you can do anywhere, anytime. You don't have to join a gym or buy fancy running shoes to do it. You can start by becoming aware of all the opportunities for moving. You can have every day and take advantage of some of them. So some of the examples that she gave that are listed here in this slide are, you walk to school, get off the bus or subway a couple of stops early, park further away. Parking lots. I'm so used to getting the spot closest to the store, and usually I park in the disabled parking because I have a disability parking permit. But maybe I should just start parking at the end of the parking lot and just walk in. Taking the dog for longer walks. Well, yesterday I actually, because it was pouring rain here in Toronto the whole day, and it's pouring rain again today. Welcome to the spring, April showers bring May flowers. So I walked my dog 5 times yesterday, but I didn't go far, but I did walk my dog. And because I'm using a new Steps app that I'm going to talk about in a minute, that I was able to see how many steps I walked yesterday, and I'll post that as well. Taking the stairs instead of the escalator, and take a family walk after dinner. Now that's an interesting point, because I never forget in all of my the years that I lived in Europe and I visited, especially the southern European countries, Italy, Portugal, Spain. That's a tradition that is very common for all families. After dinner, you go for a walk to Place Maggiore, you know, the place, the major place, you know, the center square of a town or village. And you go and get your ice cream, your Italian gelato ice cream, and you go for a walk to the square. And apparently, and I heard that you actually burn more calories by just taking a walk after dinner. So it's not crazy that thousands of or hundreds of years of European culture has produced minimum obesity in Europe. The obesity epidemic is here in North America and Canada and the US. But really obese people in Europe doesn't really exist. And that's because of the lifestyle of taking walks, the lifestyle of eating more vegetables than carbs, and things like that. So what can you do when you move around the house? Do yard work, do active chores, wash the car, snow shovel, use a snow shovel instead of snowblower. Well, I don't have to worry about that. We're done with our winter. Do exercises in front of the TV, put on some music and dance, you know, things you can do outside, go for a bicycle trip. Well, you know, you guys all know that I use my bike. I haven't used my bike in the last week or so because it's been horrible rainy weather and I'm not about to start biking in the rain. All right, so the next slide. Sorry about that. I had to find all the documents. So first thing we talked about was the Canadian Physical Activity Guidelines. And I'm going to post a link, by the way, to this guideline below. You can access it on the internet. The guidelines basically is between 18 and 64. I'm 59, so I'm right in the guidelines. To achieve health benefits, adults aged 18 to 64 should accumulate at least 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity aerobic physical activity per week in bouts of 10 minutes or more. So per week, if you do the math, that equals about 2.5 hours a week. So that's not bad. I mean, that basically means you should go to the gym at least 2 or 3 times a week and work out for an hour. It's also beneficial to add muscle and bone strengthening activities using major muscle groups for at least 2 days a week. And more physical activity provides greater health benefits. So moderate intensity physical activities can cause adults to sweat a little and breathe a little harder. So brisk walking, bike riding. So anyway, I'm not going to read this whole document to you. You know, one thing that came up, one of the questions in the group was, is going to the gym just as important as standing? So standing up. We are, you know, sitting, as they say, is called the new smoking. And I've downloaded 2 new apps. One app is a app that tells me when to stand up. So I have to stand up every 30 minutes. And another app tracks my walking, my steps. And the thing is that came up that this person from the STOMP program at SickKids, she said, going to the gym every day is less impactful than getting up every hour during a weekday. So get your ass out of that chair and start standing up more often. So on my app, it says get your, like it's like a reminder, and that comes up on my screen, and it says get your ass out of that chair and drink some water. So I have it. You can set up your own sort of message on this app to tell you what to do. So every time you stand up, every 30 minutes, I take a sip, 2 sips or 3 sips of water to continually hydrate myself. All right, so let's move on to the next slide here. So talking about the type of exercises that you do at the gym. So aerobic exercise should be the focus of post-bariatric surgery program, as it burns the most calories and facilitates ease into physical activity. Low impact activities such as walking are useful and usually well tolerated, even if only for brief periods. Aquatic activities are more easily performed and the level of stress on the body joints are minimal. All aerobic workouts should stay at an intensity level where speaking is comfortable. So it shouldn't be so vigorous that you can't talk, okay? So that's one thing. Strength training is a crucial partner to aerobic exercise, and I indeed do both. I do strength training and aerobic exercise, but typically not recommended until 3 to 4 months post-op, okay? You don't want to get a hernia. I got a hernia. I don't know if I had the hernia before I actually had the surgery or it came after, because shortly after my surgery, I started playing my horn again. Maybe some of you don't know, I'm a professional French horn player. And there's a lot of muscles, abdominal muscles that you use when you play the French horn. So I might have popped the muscle wall, and now I have a hernia. So it's like a little baby bump on my stomach. So hopefully that will be fixed once I have excess skin removal surgery, which will be 1 or 2 years down the road from now. Because right now, I actually am a candidate right now, according to my hospital, because I have a 12-inch hang on my stomach. Skin surgery here in Ontario is covered by our health system, our Ontario Health Plan, OHIP. And also breast reduction surgery is also covered, so we don't have to pay for it. But anyway, I'm a candidate right now, as it turns out, because I have a 12-inch hang on my stomach, and I'm not one of those people that's going to show my stomach on a YouTube video. No way. So 3 to 4 months post-op is, you cannot do any strength training before 3 or 4 months post-op. To give sufficient time to heal. Strength training may increase fat-free mass muscle and speed up the loss of excessive fat mass in patients. Flexibility movements improves a range of motion and promotes relaxation and can add into daily living soon after surgery. So yeah, we did some flexibility exercises during the support group meeting. Everybody had to stand up, and we had to roll around our head, and we had to lift our arms, and you know, your typical kind of stretching exercises, but they're good to do, and I have to remind myself to do it because I'm totally stiff, because a lot of overweight people have this rolled back because and we're not standing straight because for years we've been carrying all our weight on the front of our body, and we start hunching over. So I'm trying to, what she also talked about was to continually stretch your back like this when you're sitting. Okay, so don't hunch over, because it's like we have a hunch over disease when, you know, we're all behind our computers or we're all looking at our phones, you know, we're like this. But our spine actually compresses down with all of that hunching over. So try to remember to stretch your arms back and stretch your back and keep a straight posture. You know, parents used to say, sit up straight. Remember that? Okay, so anyways, sit up straight, everybody. Okay, so when you're doing these exercises, be mindful, take it slow. With all the exercises that you're doing, make sure that you drink water. What I also learned, it is more important to do weight exercises at a slower pace, not fast. If you're lifting 5.5 weights and it's really easy, the weight is too less. So the whole point of doing weight training is to you have to do 10 to 15 reps 3 times. 10 to 15 reps 3 times, but you have to be lifting a weight that's really hard to lift by the 9th rep. Okay? So if you're doing these types of exercises with weights, or, you know, the weight machine or this machine or whatever machine you're using, you have to have it at a weight that is hard to do, and you have to do it slowly. So say you're on a machine that you're pulling the weights, which I've posted a picture on before. You have to do it slowly, and then you can do it fast with going back, but slowly and then fast going back. Okay, so that is very important that you don't have too little weight, you know. And okay, so I'll move on to the next slide here. So we talked about desk breaks are more important than gym time. So a sedentary behavior has a bigger impact on health than regular MVPA, which means taking activity breaks is very important. So we need to stand up more often. That's why I need to download these apps that I highly recommend, these two apps. One's called Stand Up and the other one's called Carrot. And so yeah, standing up, very important, very important. So we'll talk about the next slide here. Cardiovascular training guidelines: improve fitness, increase energy, decrease stress, and lose or maintain weight. So FIT, F-I-T-T, basically 2 to 3 times a week, 6 to 8 out of 10 effort, your choice, 15 to 30 minutes. So basically cardio, you need to do cardio. And that equation there at the top, maximum heart rate equals 220. So your age times 0.6 equals. So I worked out that my maximum highest heart rate should be around 96. So with the use of your Apple Watch or your Fitbit, whatever you have, when you're at the gym, make sure that you look at your heart rate, that it's at least at your maximum heart rate of 96. So for me, if it's at 96, that means I'm burning calories. If it's less than 96, I'm not burning calories. So there's no point in working out if your heart rate's not getting up. Okay, so that's important to use that equation to figure out what your heart rate should be and have some sort of heart rate monitor going when you're at the gym. All right, next slide. Strength training guidelines: lean, proper technique, learn correct exercises, develop core strength, gain muscular endurance. So again, the FIT, F-I-T-T, 2 to 3 times a week, 70% of your max. So basically 70% of your heart rate is good. Machines, free weights, free body moves, 1 to 3 sets, 12 to 15 reps. So that basically if you're on a machine that says, like is one of these machines, for example, you're going to do 15 reps like this. And then you wait 30 seconds. And then you do 15 reps again, same machine. You wait 30 seconds. And then the last set, again, 15 reps. Wait 30 seconds, okay? So that's how you work out with weights. And remember to, kind of keep track of what your weight is 1 week, because the second week you should be able to add, 5 pounds maybe to that weight, because every time you want to have it to be heavier, not the same. The only way you're going to, I notice myself when I'm at the gym and I'm doing weight training, if I have it at a really heavy weight, then I look at my heart rate and whoa, it's right up in the 90s. So if you're not working hard as you're lifting weights, then you're not working hard, right? Okay. All right. So we talked about they talked about cardio versus cardio and strength. So cardio and strength is better. It boosts your metabolism, helps maintain or you lose weight, decrease joint and muscle injuries. Everyday activities become easier. Stronger bones help prevent osteoporosis. Osteoporosis. I can't say it right. Well, I have it anyway. Improves core strength and posture, less aches and pains, and lowers bad cholesterol and boosts good cholesterol. All right, flexibility guidelines. So basically you want to stretch. I talked about that before. You want to stretch every day. So it's a good thing, like first thing in the morning when you get up, maybe after you've taken your shower, or when you just get out of bed, just do some stretching exercises. Pull those shoulders back, lift your arms up, do a head roll, that sort of thing. All right, next slide, mood. So basically with exercise, and I've noticed that myself, I'm feeling happier when I have just been to the gym. So I get home and I'm feeling happier. So it acts as a mood enhancer for sure. Many studies shown physical activity has been comparable treatment effect on depression and antidepressant medication. Release of pleasure hormones. So if you can't eat chocolate and you're not having any sex, might as well go to the gym. It works as well. So hormones, endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, which also results in more energy. So it really helps with your mood, right? All right, another benefit to working out and going to the gym, or just standing up every 30 minutes in your home, or doing something, some sort of physical activity, you know, walk, park your car at the end of the parking lot at Costco and walk a bit. So anxiety, it helps with anxiety. Physical activity, specifically MVPA, moderate to vigorous physical activity, induces symptoms of sweating and increased breathing and heart rate, very similar to symptoms of anxiety. Exercise shown to decrease anxiety in people more sensitive or prone to it. Acts like a exposure treatment in that we start to associate symptoms above with safety, good feelings instead of danger. So keep calm and exercise is basically the saying. Another benefit, sleep, of course. Being active promotes good sleep patterns, improving the quality of your sleep. When we're tired, our body craves foods higher in fat and sugar. When we're rested, when we are rested, we see decrease in craving attacks. So good sleep hygiene tips, 9.5 hours. That's a lot of hours of sleep. I get an average of 7 to 8 hours of sleep. No screens 1 hour before bed. So no looking at your phone, no watching TV 1 hour before you go to bed. So I guess for that hour, you need to read a book. I'm very guilty of this. I bring my phone to bed. How many of you bring your phone to bed and have your phone right beside you at bed? I'm looking on Facebook when I'm sitting in bed, but apparently it affects your sleeping. Being active is something. Is good sleep hygiene. No caffeine 8 hours before bed. So if you have a cup of coffee after you've had dinner at 6 o'clock, you can't go to bed till 2 a.m. because that's 8 hours. The caffeine is still in your body. So that's interesting. Good nutrition, of course, helps. Regular schedule, and bed is for sleeping and sex only. Okay? All right. Sorry that it's a little bit of a long kind of video, but I think it's really important. I was actually quite interested in this because I thought, oh, I know everything about exercise, but I did learn some new things, and that's really cool. And I hope that I'm able to shed some new techniques for yourselves as well, and that you, so if you have any questions, you know, so let me know and I can help you out, or ask the bariatric team here in Toronto at our next meeting. And yeah, so those 3 videos. So I wanted to talk about these 2 new apps that I'm using. So one's called Carrot and the other one's called Stand Up. And you can download it for both Android or iPhone. And the Carrot rewards program, it's really neat because you actually get points on your ESSO card. So this is a Canadian program, by the way. So for your Americans out there, I think there's also an equivalent, an American step rewards program. But here in Canada, it's called Carrot. And I'm going to post my code below. So if anybody wants to join me, because the neat thing is that you can compete against friends with the Steps app. And at the same time, you can collect points. So you can collect points on your ESSO card, on your scene card, you know, your movie theater scene card, and Aeroplan. So I have Aeroplan and Scene. So I'm collecting points for my Aeroplan and for my Scene card for movies. So, and that's all you have to do is step. And so that's really cool as well. So I highly recommend you check that out. And and become my friend on the Carrot app, and then we can compete against each other and see how each other's doing. So far I have 2 other friends from the bariatric program on my Carrot program. For this week, I'm going to be, if anybody has any suggestions of topics that I should cover with these Finding Wendy videos, just let me know. I wanted to wish everybody a very happy Easter and Passover, and hopefully chocolate will not be an issue. It's a huge issue in my family. We love chocolate at Easter, and well, I'll probably have 1 or 2 chocolates, and that will be it. I will be strong and not indulge too much, but I will definitely have some chocolate. So that's it this week for Finding Wendy. Thanks very much for watching me, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe and like my video, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye for now.